Hi, I want to thank you for joining us at this Love in Action 2020 virtual edition. Hasn't this year been an amazingly different year, wouldn't you say? I know for us it's been an amazingly different year. There's been so many things I would have never imagined could have possibly happened in one single year. I think about the beginning of the year and the plans that we had. I'm sure the same is true with you, and it is completely different than you ever imagined. But one thing is staying the same to me, and that is that our nation, our city, our community, our county needs a small revolution of kindness. And that's what Love in Action has always been about. It's about this small revolution of kindness that will infect our lives and change us from the inside out, and then begin to change our community around us. I want to thank you so much for being a part of this virtual event today. It has taken a lot of different people to put this together. I'm standing here in a great facility here at Threshold Church. Thank you very much, Threshold, for allowing us to tape here. But I want to invite you into this opportunity, an opportunity to celebrate the activities of kindness in our community, the opportunities to see what volunteers are accomplishing to make this place a better place for all of us. I want to take this opportunity to encourage you to come and join in the fun. We'll have some music, we'll have some conversation, we'll have a cool skit, and you'll see many different things that have happened. This is all about how love can change a community. I am so glad that Common Heart is a part of this small revolution of kindness in our community, and I want to invite you to be a part of that as well. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy this time we have together, and I will be back and talk with you again. Starting us off this evening is a musical performance by an amazing woman who has been a vital part of Common Heart, been volunteering many, many times in many different capacities. Hanse will be performing today, and we want to welcome her right now. I hope you enjoy this Love in Action. You know, Love in Action for years has been a celebration of this small revolution of kindness and an opportunity to raise some funds. This year we're raising funds to get a badly needed refrigerated truck, get our refrigeration installed at the East Union Empowerment Center, and finally create a sustainability for that center. Thank you for being a part of it, as all our sponsors are today, and thank you so much. Enjoy what you see, please. Hi, I just want to thank you again for joining us. This is going to be the first conversation we're going to have as part of Love in Action. And I've gathered with me some of my friends. Following after this one, we're going to have another conversation. This one is about food. You know, when we started with COVID-19, we had to put many other things on hold while we stepped up to what needed to happen here in this community, which is distribution of food. So this conversation will be about our food distribution and the amazing folks that make it happen. And the conversation after this one will be about our economic empowerment programs that have been restarted this fall. So with me today, I've brought with me 5 friends. Over to my right, we have Bruce. Bruce, he works in, where is it that you help us with in volunteering?
Well, I do. I started out with the turkey giveaway. And deliveries there, and then I got into the income tax VITA, which is a volunteers and tax assistance, which is a free service to low-income people to do income taxes. I've been doing that for 4 years, and then when COVID came along, obviously it's hard to do taxes without being together.
That's true.
We finally figured out a way. And in fact, we did, on the behalf of Common Heart, we did 600 tax returns this year. But we had 500 of those done by the middle of March when we shut down because of COVID. And because of the logistics and setting up a program, it took until the middle of April before we got started up again. And then it was a very slow process. But anyway, we managed to get it done. And since I wasn't doing much else than that, I decided to get involved in the food pantries. And it just so happened that a vacancy came along in one of what we call a food rescue, where I go out to 3 different Food Lion stores once a week and pick up food from them that is nearing their store expiration dates, which are usually different from the you can't eat this or else you're going to die date. And so we get perfectly good food, and we get a lot of it. Between those 3 stores, we get 600-700 pounds of food on Wednesday, plus a couple of them we go every day. A couple of the others we go every other day. So there's a lot of food out there that would go to waste if it wasn't for being able to find places like Common Heart that could put it to good use.
You bring up a good point. You know, when we started with the COVID-19, it stopped what we were doing right then and there in income tax. It created 2 specific needs, really. How are we going to continue delivering groceries to folks? I mean, last year, 2019, there was about 7,500 approximately different people that got food from Common Heart, and they got food through our traditional evening pantries, through our delivery-based program, through the mobile programs, and through our senior box program. But at this point, we know, hindsight, that we've already served about 14,000 different people this year alone, about 2.5 times. And so we had to figure out how we were going to do that. And so the very first group that actually opened up on our new system, well, I think it was actually the second, was our next guest that's joined with me, next friend, Brad. Brad here is from Union United Methodist Church, and he's very much involved with our evening pantries and the changes we've done there. And matter of fact, I think he and his church are the current superstars of TV with how many different times folks have come over to his church.
Oh my gosh, yes.
But tell us some about what happened over there.
When COVID hit, we changed our distribution model. Before, for folks who may not know, what happened was you would go into the sanctuary, hang out, We would take numbers of who would come in kind of a lottery order. Then you go downstairs and fill up your bags and have an interaction. It took all evening. When COVID hit, we had to move to a drive-through model. That just changed how we distributed everything from the way that people would come, that instead of a lottery, it was first come, first serve, managing the parking situation, which if you remember very fondly, was a disaster and all my fault. It really was.
Oh, Brad, come on.
Oh, it was. Well, I was like, I can handle parking. No, not yet, but learned immediately the next
Yes,
week.
you did. You did.
So the way it works out now is that when you pull up, I give you a sticky note. Sticky notes are answered prayers because you can do so much with them. And it's literally with a number, so we know the order people come, park them in a pre-arranged set, or if we're moving, we'll send them on down. But when it's their turn, they will get checked in by one of the volunteers, if they have their card, pull around behind the church, and all the pre-packaged food is then put directly into their car trunk or back seat. And they're out hours faster than they were before.
I mean, I think, hasn't it increased the number of people that you're serving?
It absolutely has. We were usually hovering around 25 to 30 families a week. Normally we're around 30 to 40, sometimes 50 to 60 families a week. And because now I'm the guy who welcomes you to the parking lot, I'm starting to recognize people, which is great. I have a wonderful interaction with them, just being able to check in. But honestly, I'm noticing a lot of new people quite regularly that they'll say, I've never been here before, what do I do? And I can recognize that this is not maybe the first time to this particular food site, but any food site.
Right.
And of course, we're excited that they're here, that we can help.
I know one of the key things about Common Heart and our partnership is that focus on that small revolution of kindness and being there, loving our neighbor as ourselves. And, I appreciate that because I know I've been out there working with you out in that space there in your group of people, because amazing. At one point we had to almost turn away people if we wanted to volunteer, because your church, small as it is, has come out in force.
Oh, it's no question. Our congregation is around 50 to 70 on a Sunday before COVID. So we're tiny compared to a lot of Union County. But we have so many people coming out to volunteer that we are having to turn people away, and they're having to come like every other week. And people from the community. We have people from F3, which is a men's workout group, which is awesome. They're coming out to volunteer. We've had Rotary Club come pretty regularly to volunteer. It's remarkable that we're a small congregation, yet God still uses a small group to do big things. One of the reporters that came, we had like 4 reporters, his words were, this is a small church doing big things to help those in need.
Yeah.
And that's what we're here for.
Well, that's very cool. The other need that Bruce had brought up was related to volunteers. Once we had to shut everything down, one of the problems that we didn't realize we would have is the fact that a lot of our volunteers had higher risk, and so many of them actually had to step away. We lost many different volunteers at that time, and then on top of that, we had the thing where we had to go and limit the number of volunteers. We didn't want to have too many volunteers at the same time. And so when we did that, we reached out and put out to the community and said, we need some volunteers to help. Now, Bruce, as you mentioned, you stepped up related to grocery rescue, but also we had Jackie and Tori step up to help as well. Jackie, tell us a little bit about your experience with Common Heart and how you're working there, and why is it important for you to be involved over there?
Well, Tori and I, we enjoy coming to work there, and Tori, actually, she loves doing the kid packets that we make there, and we just want to give back to the community. And
you guys have a special relationship, so to speak, here, right? Tell us a little bit about that, if you don't mind.
I am Tori's caregiver. We work together, and I assist her, and I am her advocate, and I'll speak for her, and she can communicate with her special device. So,
We really appreciate your help. I know before that you were working at a thrift store, which unfortunately, again, was another one of those victims of COVID-19 where we've had to close down the thrift store. Now, we've kind of reopened, so to speak, in the sense that we have auctions going on. Not quite the same, and that created this vacuum for you guys. So you guys are really having a good experience over there, and I hope you're having a good experience right now.
Yes, we did. We loved that. Tori enjoyed that so much, from just organizing to hanging up the clothes or just sorting through and organizing things. It was an excellent experience. We enjoyed that very much. And then after she graduated, we was looking for something else, and we came across Common Hearts, and we just love it. We come 3 times a week, and also if they need us, extra, we'll come in, and also we deliver food also. We've started doing that too.
Well, that's right. That's one of the things that a lot of people may not realize, because when folks really talk about Common Heart, they know that we deliver to a lot of different people. I shouldn't say deliver. We distribute food to a lot of different people.
Yes.
I mean, because we've got with Brad, as I mentioned, we have our pantry where it's an evening pantry, and then we have 3 of those. Matter of fact. At Wingate Baptist Church, we actually had to open that one up because of COVID. And so in April, that was brand new. And
say thank you, because it made the numbers a little bit more manageable on our end. So thank you for opening the Tuesday site.
I mean, the important thing about the Tuesday site was that it's on the eastern end of the county.
Right.
And a lot of our folks come from all over the county, and that's a long drive to come from Wingate or Marshville to come out to Wesley Chapel or out to Hemby Bridge.
Did I hear that you guys are the ones who are making or have been participating in making the kids' bags?
Yes.
Thank you. I can just tell you from volunteers, when they're delivering the kids' bags, the kids in the back seat don't always feel like this is for them, that they're just kind of stuck along for the ride, but being told, and this is for you, it just lights up their faces. So you guys are awesome. Thank you for doing that.
You're welcome.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now, as you mentioned, you guys are delivering now, right, too?
Yes.
You're one of our newest delivery folks.
Yes, we are.
I want to turn right now real quick to one of our, and I don't mean oldest in age, forgive me, but I mean one of our longest running delivery folks, and that is our friend Chris. Chris and I go way back. Chris is somebody I really appreciate, and she delivers groceries throughout different parts of the county and has been doing it for many years. Matter of fact, the first time she worked with us was a Great Turkey Countdown in 2007 as far as delivery goes. But tell me a little bit, during COVID, what's it been like getting out and delivering groceries? Because that's one of the things that people don't realize we do. Can you tell us a few stories about maybe what's been going on out there?
Well, there's a lot going on out there. And I have a person that rides along with me right now. I usually pick somebody and let them go with me, to see what we're all about, get them involved. Anyway, we always had prayer with our people. When we drop their groceries, they like to catch up, tell you their stories, whatever, because we only get to see them once a month, pretty much. So we haven't been able to do that, but because we've had to drop at the door, knock on the door and drop. But there's this one lady, we would have prayer through the door, so it didn't matter. We were still there for her. And she's pretty sick, and she couldn't get out, so she really looked forward to that. Some of the kids, like you're talking about the book bags and things like that, and the cakes they get and stuff like this, they look so forward to us coming. They think, oh wow, I love the stuff she brings. And not too long ago there was boxes of rocks that they could paint. They were like, they just love it. It's a little treat, because a lot of people on my routes, they don't really get that much. They really don't. So, it's awesome that the things that Common Heart does. Because I know ages ago when I first started with them, I started out with it was actually, I always want to say a prayer and a promise to God. Because I was going through some things myself. And 6 years later, that all came to light when his dad asked me to join Common Heart. So that's how I got started, and I hope and pray that I get to stay until Keith tells me I'm too old to do it anymore, or whatever.
I don't know about you, but I plan on staying until I'm at least 69 or 70. How about you?
Keith, we don't even go there. I'm going to stay until God says that I'm done.
All right,
I am going to stay. Because it is, and through the pandemic, I had my essential letter. And whether Common Heart knew it or not, Michelle and I, we were gathering stuff, and sometimes we even went to the store and bought to get people through, until I could get there again for the once a month. We were getting things, like they will text me and say, Chris, I'm out of tuna, I'm out of bread. We'd go get it, and we'd take it and drop it at the door.
Well, thank you. I mean, that's really what it's all about, is really getting involved in people's lives and being a part of what we call the small revolution of kindness. So I wanted to turn back over to Bruce, because I've known you for a while. You and I have gone to church for a little while together, and I've known you around Common Heart. What is it about this idea of a small revolution of kindness that we talk about that really does, move you?
Well, I think that the small part of it really says it all, okay? Because nobody has to give a lot of money, or nobody has to put a lot of time into it. You don't have to make it your job, okay? But the fact that you can do a little bit and make a huge difference, that's the thing that really amazes me.
Yeah.
The first time I did the Thanksgiving giveaway, I was just amazed at the number of people that were there to haul Thanksgiving dinner to everybody. I think back when I did it, there were maybe 500 or 600 the first year that we did it. And of course, it's just ballooned since then. But I think that was the thing that really cued me that you don't have to make it a full-time job. I've been a scoutmaster, and I've been other things in other nonprofits where it ended up taking a lot of time and a lot of effort, okay? And for me, the fact that I can give my 3 or 4 hours a week for the food rescue, or I can give a Saturday for the Saturday afternoon or Saturday morning for the turkey giveaway, or with the taxes, I can give a couple hours a day, 2 or 3 hours a day for a limited amount of time. I think that's really the key. That's the thing I think that really does it, is that the small part, but it all adds up to a big effect, a huge effect.
Yeah, one of the initial quotes we ever had on one of our volunteer t-shirts, I don't know how many of you guys got some of my volunteer t-shirts. We got like 6 or so colors. I don't know how many you got. But the first one was a yellow one, and it's from Mother Teresa, and it says, "We cannot all do great things, but we can all do small things with great love." And that's a key thing, I think. And, you bring up about the volunteering aspect of it, but, my hope and desire is that this small revolution of kindness that starts inside of us actually changes us to such a place that we are becoming more and more naturally kind and naturally thinking about others and turning our hearts and attentions towards folks that we might not normally think about.
Right. I think that's the big part. That's the big part. Is those people that we don't think about, that a lot of us never see, okay? But yet we see them when we do any of this stuff, whether it's the taxes or whether it's the food or any of the things that Common Heart does. I never realized, just pure ignorance on my part, that the need was so great.
Yeah. It's so amazing when you think about this county, for instance, Union County. Union County, I just saw an article, I think it was in a newspaper, and we have the highest cost of living of any county in North Carolina, and we're the second highest actual income, okay, per capita, okay? And you would think with that we would have eliminated hunger and poverty in our county. I mean, we are among the richest in our in North Carolina. However, before the pandemic, we had 9.5% of our population, about 22,000 people, that were hungry, that didn't know, either that or they were getting non-nutritious food, they were just filling up with ramen noodles, okay? And people struggling to find the right kinds of food. And before the pandemic, we were serving 34% of them, about those 22,000. Our goal was to serve 10,000 people. That was our goal. Or 11,000 would be great because we hit 50%. This year so far, right around 14,000 people. But the problem is with the pandemic, that food insecurity level has gone up to 14.5%. In other words, there's now 30,000 people in our county that are not sure where they're either going to get their next meal, or they're short on a meal, or they're going to just fill it in with starches and not good nutrition. And on top of that, having schools been closed for so long before, and then also people not being able to get their food through the schools and stuff, it created a real problem. But I want to thank you guys so much for being such a big part of making a difference. Before we close, I just want to give an opportunity to either respond, for anyone to respond to anything, or to continue conversation about this small revolution of kindness. Anyone like to add in on that?
It's our blessing, isn't it?
Yes.
To get to serve them, I think. I've enjoyed each and every person I've met out there all these years.
Yep.
So, it's been enlightening. I think I'm blessed.
I think we all are.
Yes.
I'd like to say one more thing.
Yeah, please.
Tori and I, we love working the mobile pantries and setting up and just seeing the people come through and, you know, in the cars, and then, you know, the smiles on their faces and just the eye contact, and
Yes.
they just it just makes you feel so good that you can, you know, do that. And I just wanted to say that I never thought about working a pantry because a mobile pantry, because I didn't think that I could really, you know, help in any way, but you can always help. There's always something that you can do, always.
I'd like to kind of piggyback on that because I have told a lot of folks that my little job in our Thursday mobile giveaway, parking attendant, I have the best job of the whole night because I'm literally the first person that people see as they come in. And for a lot of them, they have come to know me as the pastor, but for some of them, it's their first time. And you can just see the anxiety, the nervousness, like, am I doing this right? Is this the right place? And I just get to greet them with a smile and say, you are welcome here. That we're receiving these people with value and with love and with kindness. And I can just say, you know, God loves you and I love you and I'm glad you're here. You can just see, God knows the burdens these people carry, but they just lift a little bit. And I'm like, wow, I have the best job of the night, that I get to greet these people and say that you're welcome, that you're my neighbor. And it's the best job because when they leave, they go right back to church. So I see them as they go, and I just wave, and how many times they hop back and stick their arms out and wave, and it's just like the world got a little bit better. And the whole night, of course, but being able to see these people who often are not seen in a literal way, make that eye contact, like you said, and greet them and love them, even with masks on and social distancing, it still works. And Thursday nights are my favorite night of the week. God shows up.
It's an awesome experience, isn't it?
Yes.
And it's not a job at all.
No, it's not.
We're there to serve the people out there that really need it. Because I think in some way we can all relate because we've all been there possibly. I know I have, so. And you don't want to give up. You can never give up. You just keep putting smiles on their faces. That's what I like to do. Through it all.
It matters. Makes a difference.
It does. It does.
I would just invite people that are watching this to contact Common Heart. Because we've really not covered a lot of things that Common Heart does. You know, so if we haven't hit your sweet spot of your, oh yeah, I'd like to do that, call Common Heart, because there's a whole lot more that Common Heart does than what we have talked about here. And we can always use more volunteers.
Amen.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. Let me queue up for the next conversation a little bit more, because when we close down on our other programs, the programs we close down on is the is our economic empowerment programs, because not only is there a food insecurity problem, is there a food problem, not just in our county, but in our region, but then also, I mean, a couple of years ago, the big news was that out of the top 50 metropolitan areas, Charlotte was number 50, worse-wise, the lowest on the bottom of the ranking, on moving people out of generational poverty and giving them opportunity. When we saw that, plus we had the experience of actually going into people's homes and seeing who they were and getting to know them, we decided that we wanted to start working in that area. And so that's our economic empowerment programs. And my friend Sandy, who runs our economic empowerment program, will be sharing with a group of people talking about the impact of our economic empowerment programs. And one way, since we're talking about volunteering, that you could be involved with that is by becoming an ally for a family who is moving out of poverty. A little bit more commitment than that small you're talking about, because it's a little bit more of our heart that we have to give in order to walk along with someone as they work through the trials of building resources and breaking through barriers. But it's a very rewarding thing. Again, I want to thank you all for being a part of this conversation, and appreciate you, and thank you so much for serving this community. You know, we're going to make it through because we work together as a community. Amen. And I thank you so much for your involvement.
Stick around, we'll be right back in just a moment.
Hello, Miss Be Kind here, reporting live from our Indian Trail Food Pantry. I have another amazing volunteer here, and I have a couple of questions for her. Tell us your name and why did you want to be a volunteer?
My name is Marlene, and I wanted to be a volunteer to help make a difference in our community, helping people who need just a little assistance to get by. So I'm here to help others.
Wow, that's amazing. Now tell me, I see tons of pasta and soup and beans, but I don't see any honey. Do you have any honey here today?
You probably could find some honey in the miscellaneous because I saw some come in earlier today.
Ooh, miscellaneous. That sounds like an amazing category. We'll have to check that out. I have one more question. Have you seen the queen bee?
I have not seen the queen bee.
Oh, no.
I've not seen her yet.
Well, we'll have to go on a hunt. Thank you so much. That's it for now.
As with all of our Love in Actions, we have a silent auction, and this year our silent auction is taking place on Facebook. And here to tell you more about it is Carrie and Kara. Take it away, Carrie and Kara.
Hi, and welcome to Common Heart's auction group for our Love in Action season. I'm Carrie.
And I'm Kara. We brought just a very small selection of some of the amazing items we have in our auction. First up, we wanted to share with you this beautiful women's top by Alfani from Macy's. It's brand new with tags, size extra large. The fabric is so silky smooth, you'll love it.
This would be perfect for anyone's work wardrobe.
Yes. And look how flowy it is. I said, look how flowy it is.
It is flowy.
And next, for your bidding pleasure, we have a Timex Expedition men's watch with a brown leather band. This watch has an indigo light and is water resistant for up to 50 meters. And I'm excited to share with you that this watch was used by Jacques Cousteau on one of his amazing diving expeditions. Take a look.
This watch is not waterproof, but would make a great addition to any man's wardrobe, and you can ride a boat while wearing this watch. Next, for your bidding pleasure, we have this beautiful Christmas basket that includes this wonderful lantern.
Yes, and I believe that lantern was used by George Washington in 1776, and then just a week later by Abraham Lincoln.
I'm pretty sure that's not how history works. but this is indeed a beautiful lantern. Oh, it's from IKEA.
IKEA? Was that one of the original 13 colonies?
No, it's Scandinavian and still would make a beautiful gift for that special person in your life to enjoy this Christmas season.
Oh, Scandinavian. How exotic.
And finally, we have this Clinique pore refining solution charcoal mask in a convenient 3.4 ounce size.
Show them the tester.
In this case, a little goes a long way. Has a lovely, earthy, woodsy smell.
No, they need the full effect. Oh, this feels amazing. I can feel it working already. Pore refining, taking out any dirt or impurities in my skin. Ladies, you should really bid on this.
Looks amazing.
It feels great too.
We'll be back in a moment so we can clean this up. And we're back where Kara has visibly brighter skin.
Yes. This is just a small sample of the many amazing auction items that we have for your bidding pleasure. Please go on Facebook and search Common Heart Auction Group and join in the fun.
It's that easy. We want to thank you for joining us today and happy bidding.
Welcome back, everyone. My name is Sandy Reed, and I'm the Economic Empowerment Manager here at Common Heart. And I'm here with a few friends today, and we're going to talk about the economic empowerment programs. So right now I'd like to introduce Miss Victoria. Say hello. And next I have Rena here.
Hello.
And then we have Ricky. Hi. And Sarah.
Hey.
So we're just going to have a discussion and talk about the programs that we've all actually attended and been through our economic empowerment programs. So first and foremost, I would like to start talking about our Getting Ahead programs. Since everyone has been a part of the Getting Ahead program. So Victoria, would you like to start us off and let everyone know what the Getting Ahead program is and what you gained from it?
The Getting Ahead program, well, it's exactly what it means, or the title, Getting Ahead. It helps you to prepare mentally, and also anything that involves your everyday struggles. It helps you to get everything together and getting ahead. And what I did get out of it was that there are more people out there that struggle, and it can happen to anyone. And it gave me the confidence to keep going because I wasn't alone.
Thanks for sharing that. Thank you. Rena, would you like to let us know your experience with Getting Ahead?
Getting Ahead has taught me a lot of resources that I didn't know that was available for me. And it also made me realize that I'm not the only one out here struggling, like Victoria said. A lot of people struggling worse than I am, so that gave me the encouragement to keep going to do what I need to do. But I've learned a lot of things from going to the Getting Ahead program.
Then Miss Ricky, would you like to share something with us about your Getting Ahead experience?
Sure. I actually took Getting Ahead twice. I was part of the very first group that we had, and then we took it again. And we were new to the area, and so I felt like it really helped us learn about different resources in the area. We were able to, I was able to meet people and, build relationships that still to this day, even a few years later, that they're still a big part of my life. So it was a great program for us.
Awesome. Thank you. Then Miss Sarah, would you like to share?
So Getting Ahead initially was a way to kind of make a quick buck. And the conversation started out, where was the best place to dumpster dive, best place to go get food. And after going through a few of the classes, everybody got along and started talking and opening up. And And we all started a nice journey together about how to go from that food pantry, dumpster diving to thriving and learning how to make it and gaining the resources from each other and the support and everything from each other.
Yeah, thank you for that. I know one thing that Ricky just said was about the resources. Getting ahead was all about building up resources that you may not have had in the beginning, but we shared our experiences and were able to gain more resources. Yeah. And I know for me, myself, I went through the Getting Ahead program and also was a facilitator in the Getting Ahead program. And even though I went through it more than one time, I learned more. And just like Ricky said, I'm not from here, so being a transplant, so to say, I found out what the resources were in the area, and it helped me thrive as well. So thank you for that, ladies. So Sarah is now also a Getting Ahead facilitator. Would you like to speak on your experience about that now?
This is my first class that I am helping facilitate. We're about 4, maybe 5 classes into it, and you're right. Every time you take it, every time you interact, you learn something. You learn something new, and just taking what I had learned in my experiences from our Getting Ahead class and trying to move that into the now Zoom classes, thanks to COVID. And helping everybody kind of build those relationships in the class too. It's interesting, and you learn every time. And it's not just like, when we have to do the schedules for the whole week, everybody writes down how long it takes to do everything. Mine's not the only one that looks like it done, caught with a hurricane or a tornado come through. And it's great. It's something to learn from. Everybody gets along, and, you kind of meet in the middle.
Yeah, good points. And also, one thing that you just mentioned about the resources and also the COVID. One thing that COVID stopped was our economic empowerment programs. So this fall, we started them back up. And along with Getting Ahead, we started back our Rules program, which is for our middle school and high school students. And it's similar to Getting Ahead, where they find out the resources in the community. And it's also, I don't know if you ever heard the saying, you can't play the game unless you know the rules. So that's pretty much what our Rules is about, to help the middle school and high school students know the rules so that they can get ahead and actually stay ahead. And I know Ricky and Victoria, both of you had kids who have participated in the Our Rules program. Would you like to share some of the experiences that they may have gotten from that or that you've seen?
He only came, I think, a couple of times because we ended up moving back to Texas, and so he wasn't able to finish. And I think he was a little bit young for the program at that time, but he, would love to take it if it comes up again or if it starts up again. So I think it'd be, because now we're homeschooling, for full time. So it's, I think, something that could be beneficial to him. And then, we have kids that are getting older. He could teach it to his younger brothers, the things that he knows. And so, yeah, I think it's, an excellent program.
Thank you.
For my son, John, one thing that I know he did talk about was the financial planning. Me being a business owner, he sees and had seen things that I had brought to the table before the Getting Ahead, and then also with the Getting Ahead, the teachings that we went over, he saw me implement them, and it became very interesting for him. So he was really excited about that. He did take out his planner when we had the going away or graduation ceremony, and he was so stoked about it. So he used it, and now it's time for me to get him a new one.
That's good. It's good seeing those tools, seeing them work with those tools and actually do something with it. That's good. So Sarah, you actually are facilitating our new Getting Ahead class that we recently started up. And we're actually doing that one in person, but it's a small group due to COVID. So can you give us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, so we're currently on session 5 with the Our Rules. It's interesting. It's very fun, very loud. It's all girls this time around, and you put a bunch of teenage girls in one class, trying to talk and learn. It's kind of difficult from time to time. they seem to really be enjoying, especially working on like the character developments, learning about, just staying optimistic, staying positive, and learning the different registers of language, what's frozen and how, we would practice, reciting certain things like the wedding vows. And, then we started talking common with each other and how they would wish their own teachers would talk to them. And it's getting ahead for the teenagers. It's enjoyable, all the girls are in one class, so we'll see. We're excited. They're excited every week, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good stories come out of the Getting Ahead class this time, so that's pretty awesome. Makes me think of how the relationship building goes in Getting Ahead. Would anybody like to share their experience on a relationship portion of how the camaraderie within the group and, even the support that you may have had with Getting Ahead?
I've met a lot of nice people in the group. Because I didn't really know people. Like I said, I relocated down here, so I didn't know a lot of people. But I've met a lot of nice ladies that I really enjoy, that I can reach out to and still communicate with. I really like it. Because everybody, like Sarah said, everybody got along so well in the class. So it made it more open for us to talk the way we wanted to talk and say the things that really, how we felt.
Even when y'all took the time to talk about my northern slang and how I talk and how I laugh and everything, but it's okay. That was all part of the family. They love me because I brought candy.
Twice, 2 times. I kept track of 2 times the whole class is the only time. But no, we did. We all got along good. We developed the Facebook page, and just from us having that class, I met Desiree. Desiree gave me the contact with the current people I work with and getting back into the healthcare field. So I get to see her every day and knowing, hey, somebody else is out there that understands, look, I'm broke. I ain't got but $5 to get back and forth to work on gas, and building that relationship. And I know Desiree brought you her daughter's wedding stuff, and so you got to make that change. And so, everybody learned everybody's different strengths, and, everybody kind of like learned how to get along with everybody.
Yeah. Did anyone else have anything to share on that Getting Ahead experience?
Well, the relationships is really, it was pivotal with my situation, just because life happens, and as I learned that life was happening or had happened to some of the peers, and they were telling me the mindset that they developed over time. And it helped me to understand the road that I needed to either continue to be on or the road to be on when you're going through separation. So it was really, really good. And something that Sandy would always say, I get it. I understand. I get it. And that was very comforting. So it's a really, really good atmosphere, really great environment.
I enjoyed it. Also, everybody opening up and sharing their stories and, building that camaraderie between us, it did. It gave me the gumption to be able to get up and talk to people that's never been in poverty. And, you really thought nobody else understood the struggle. Like, it's not just, oh, go get a job. It's, hey, I ain't got a car, childcare, and everybody understood that. And, it did. It gave me a lot of encouragement to get up and say something to people that could make a difference. Somebody that could financially back some changes and, support Common Heart and the, work that y'all and we do here, so.
And also, I would like to say, just hearing your stories and, from your heart and everything that you guys brought.
Like I said, I was new to the county or North Carolina, period. But meeting you and learning about you and becoming friends and family Seriously, like it's been amazing for me. And the program for me has also allowed me to be more of myself. You know, one thing that I felt like I was called to do was to share my testimony, you know, things that I've been through and places that I've been, things like that. And being in this group, in this class, you know, we weren't all in the same class, but being a part of that, having that same common language and knowing that it's okay that you've been through this, it's been like very empowering, even for me, and it helps me give back as well. So seeing when you give back, you know, it's like I'm gonna put my age out there or whatever, but you know, like my little sister is doing it, you know what I mean? So it's like awesome to see it. Yeah, Rena, you're my little sister now. So.
Well, you know what? Common Heart really taught me how to survive the struggle because I was always working and able to get up and go to the store and buy whatever I want whenever I want it. Now I'm on retirement. I'm on a fixed income. It's a big change for me from being able to just get up and go into the store and having to manage my finances for the whole month. That is really a drastic change. And I was like really panicking and frustrated and didn't know what to do or where to go. But when I came to Common Hearts in the classes, I learned how to reach out and not be ashamed and do what I needed to do to stay alive.
Yeah, you brought up the classes. So we have the staying ahead classes that usually people are participating in after they finish the getting ahead class. And we have different topics. But I know, Rena, you attended, which classes did you attend for the staying ahead?
I did the drama relationship classes, escaping relationship drama. I also did stocks and bonds. And what was another one? It was another one. Money and Me, yes. I did the finance class. I try to take all the classes I can.
But that's what they're there for.
Yes.
To build the resources, even, you know.
And you learn a lot. Even though you think you know something, you always learn something more. That's what I like.
Yeah. Cool. And Ricky, I know you attended some of the staying ahead classes too. Which class did you attend?
Yeah, I did the Money and Me, and then we were going to do the escape and relational drama, and we had issues. And so, yeah, we had to reschedule that. But yeah, I'm excited to take all the classes that I can because, I mean, like she said, you're always going to learn something new, you know, even if you think that you know, like I budget, I'm a budgeter every month, but the Money and Me class, it still showed me different things and, you know, things that I was excited to share with my roommate who was in the Getting Ahead class, and she's had health issues, so she wasn't able to continue to do. But her watching me do the Money and Me class, she said, "Is there another one coming up?" And so she's interested in, you know, in doing it because she saw me working on my budgets and stuff. So yeah.
And it trickles down. It keeps
Yeah.
going. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I know, Rena, you mentioned the Advocates for Change, the Stocks and Bonds class. That was one of our resource meetings that we had in Advocates for Change. And we also had, what else did we have? I know Sarah did a canning class in our Advocates for Change. And Money and Me was for the staying ahead.
Okay.
And we also have our cafe sessions where we basically get together and just communicate, check up on everybody and see how it's going. We try to have a theme. When we were meeting in person, we had like cupcakes or something like that. But with our Advocates for Change group, it's usually the leaders. The people who graduate from Getting Ahead are then called leaders. And then we get together with allies, which are usually people who have gone through our other program that's called Bridges Out of Poverty. And Bridges Out of Poverty basically gives lets people know what it really truly means to be in poverty. Like, a lot of people may think that being in poverty is, oh, you just don't have enough money. But there's so many other reasons why you could be in poverty. So people go through those courses, and then those are our allies. So we get together, and then we have these resource meetings, and we have these cafe sessions to communicate and basically walk hand in hand and learn from each other. So I know everyone has participated in Advocates for Change, but first, Sarah, would you like to share about the canning session that you gave us, which was very educational for me?
Yeah, so Advocates for Change kind of helps build a lot of those resources, and it lets the people that did do the Bridges Out of Poverty understand what resources people in poverty need. Because it's not just a financial thing. You know, you could give somebody a box of fresh fruits, you know, here's you a case of apples. Well, you can't really eat them all before they all go bad. And so a lot of people don't know how to preserve or freeze or can up. And so it was interesting just to be able to teach that and let that trickle down to help other people. And hopefully, you know, you can start teaching it and everybody can kind of learn how to save their fruits and vegetables and growing a garden. I know that's been really important, especially with the COVID now. Everybody seemed to have a garden this year. So I think, you know, Advocates for Change, it does help a lot of people build those resources and kind of reach out and let them know what people in poverty kind of need.
Now, Rena, I know you have a garden. Was that garden pretty new from after COVID or after getting ahead or anything?
No, I had started it regardless of the COVID. I always like to start a garden, but I just did a small one because like this was my first time doing this garden here in North Carolina, so I did a small one. But it produced pretty good.
You got some nice stuff over there.
Yes, I did.
Awesome. So we went Getting Ahead, Advocates for Change, our rules. What about the poverty simulation? So our poverty simulation has actually been put on hold due to COVID, so we can't have it like we had it before, but I know a few of you have participated in that. Would anyone like to speak more about our poverty simulation?
Yeah, I'll go. I only went to one of the poverty simulations, but it was really funny to watch people who are not used to being in these situations. Like, well, what do you mean I can't, do this right now? Or I have to go here first. I have to get back in line. And it's like we deal with this all the time. You know what I mean? And so some of us, we know kind of how to navigate because we've been in the situation for so long. And so it was just very interesting, I think, to watch people kind of like a fish out of water, like not really knowing what to do or where to go and not knowing how to, I guess, like manage their time, their money, when the bills are due, sick kids, no childcare. I mean, it was just, it was very interesting. And then the conversation afterwards, I think a lot of them were saying how eye-opening it was because they didn't realize, it's one thing to say, well, you just need more money or you need to get a second job or you're lazy or whatever it is. But they're realizing that it's like, it's like you have all these different balls up in the air, trying to keep them up, trying to juggle. And so it was a lot of fun.
It's a huge eye-opener. It's really powerful. It's really powerful.
It is. I think it humbled a lot of people.
Yeah.
If you've never been through it, you don't know how, I don't want to say ashamed, but,
They make you feel like a second-rate citizen or less than human when you walk into DSS. They don't understand that feeling of having to go and sit and wait in 2 and 3 hour lines to get food from a food bank. And they also don't understand like the food that does come from the food bank. You're not eating, lobster tail for dinner no more. You're getting a can of tuna and some macaroni. So it's very humbling for them. And that struggle, you could watch the wheels start turning and the light bulbs start going off. They're like, oh, wow, this is what you mean. This is really not that you don't want to go get a job. You don't have the way to get there, the child care. And a lot of people don't realize how expensive child care gets and how quickly it adds up. And not to mention, kid gets sick, run the fever, they can't go, they send them home. Then you lose time at work.
Right. You have to go through the debate in your head, like, is this worth me working? Like, because all my money is going to go towards childcare, and then there's no food. Then I can't get to work, and then it's like it's a whole domino effect of things. Yeah, it makes you realize that the job of someone in poverty is actually really hard. Like, you have to explain what you're going through to someone else in a totally different language than you speak every day, so that somebody else can understand where you're coming from. So that takes more thought, more time, more effort and everything, just so that you can get one of the resources that you need, or even half of the resource that you need, So people don't always think about that it takes so much energy, so much time and everything just to get to a place where you're stable. It's a full-time job to get the resources that you need out there. It really is.
I know one thing about the poverty stimulation program that we did. It opened up a lot of eyes to the younger generation. They didn't really realize what the struggle was until they did that poverty simulation and saw what they had to do, how much they had to do it with, and what they really had to face. I've seen a lot of eyes open up.
Yeah, that's the poverty simulation goes all around, like even for the younger kids, the people who have never been in poverty, and then on the other side, for the people who have experienced poverty, like our leaders, we're actually the workers, in the group. So we may play the role as social services or the employer or something like that. And I know that when you guys played that, did you notice any change in yourself, or did you learn anything new that you didn't learn? Did you learn anything new that you didn't know before?
I was a banker, and I learned not to be so harsh. I was a little tight with the money.
But that was sort of like what you had to do. Those were the rules that you were given. So it wasn't just you, that was making the rules. It was the rules that were already in place that you had to follow. So yeah, that's how it is in life.
And you hate to turn people away, but you had to, because like you say, it was the rules. That was the circumstances.
No, I understand, because when I started it and, I was asked to participate, my first thought was, I'm
Thinking to teach y'all a lesson, like, here we go. Y'all made me feel this bad, here we go. Y'all finna get something. And then, I was the general contractor, and these people were coming up begging for a job, or, hey, I got to get off work this and this early. And I'm like, well, you're fired. And, that's what I thought. I was like, yeah, you will learn something. Then you would see them flip the chairs over because they got evicted and stuff. And then I was like, darn, I'm so sorry. Lord, I'm so sorry. Come back here. Let me find you a little part-time job, And they got to looking at you because, they started out, that $325 or whatever a week. And then you got them back in, got them a part-time job for like, $75 that week. And they were so grateful for it and everything. And, like you said, their light bulbs started going off like, hey, now I got $75. I can, figure this out and da-da-da. But it also helped your light bulb to go off as far as like, having compassion and feeling sorry for them too. So, it definitely changed my thought of, how I'm just getting even to, wow, like seeing that in their face, it made me sad.
So after, usually how it works, after Advocates for Change, we're in a bigger community, which is Thrive Union. And Thrive Union is a poverty coalition amongst Union County, which has different agencies from Union County, and we get together and try to make positive change within the community. So I know a few of you have attended that, and I know, Sarah, you have actually spoke there, so I wanted to give you a moment to speak about your experience on speaking to the group at Thrive.
All right, so when I attended the Thrive Union and talking to them, I didn't realize how many different organizations were in Union County. We had talked about a few of them and getting ahead and stuff, and it never really occurred to me that the college was a part of Thrive Union and what they could do to help benefit the community, especially Wingate community. It's the poorest community or impoverished zip code in the county. I didn't know that until I went to Thrive Union. And just, putting Common Heart's name out there and putting a face to the people that they try to help. Like I said, going through Getting Ahead gave me the gumption and the ambition to talk more openly about it. And people seem to do better if they have a face and a story to put behind the people that they're helping and their struggles with trying to get ahead and get out of poverty and, different organizations that are out there.
Yeah. Thanks for sharing that, and thanks for sharing everything, you guys. I really appreciate it. I know for me, the whole idea of the economic empowerment area at Common Heart is to empower our community. Empowerment is huge for me, period. So we want to give a voice, put you in places where or not put you in places, but open the door for you to go in and walk in and speak to those people to make positive changes within the community.
I can't do it by myself.
Common Heart can't do it by themselves. You have a story, you have a story, you have a story, and you have a story. So wherever it is that you need to go into, if it's something, if I can put my foot in there to crack the door open, and let you in and have those conversations and bring those stories that only you can tell to make those positive changes, then we can work together and do just that. So that's why I am very excited about this. I'm very excited and very honored to have shared the space with you guys, and I'm glad that you were here to have this conversation with me. So I appreciate it, and thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Stick around. We'll be right back after this word.
Hello, we're back at Mineral Springs United Methodist Church, where we're having a mobile food drive today. I just wanted to come and get the buzz from some of the volunteers. So I have a burning question for you. Why did you want to be a volunteer today?
I work all the time and I want to give back, and I think everybody needs food, and that's literally the least I can do. So it makes my week when I do this. It really does.
Oh, wow. Well, it looks like there's a lot of busy bees here today at Mineral Springs. Can you tell us a little bit about the activity that's going on in the hive?
Well, it looks like there's lots of cars, hundreds of them, and the food is getting in boxes and boxed in the cars according to their need, and everybody leaves with food. So it's great. It's great.
Wow. Do you have any honey today?
Oh, no honey, but there's chicken.
Bees don't eat chicken. But that sounds really great for you humans. Thanks so much. Stay tuned for more.
And our final performance of the evening comes to us from one of our volunteers who's volunteered at mobile pantries and other things. Matter of fact, he sang at our last Love in Action. King Chavo performing his song right now.
My changes make me talk.
You think you got money, don't you?
Death rate's rising, and it's worse than it was before. Someone's gotta stand down. This pain seems to be taking over. Someone needs a change right now. Oh no, not another funeral. I know we're tired of the suffering, the violence. Let's stop the violence. First, understand that you may never be understood. Second, the title tough don't always mean that you from the hood. And third, coming from the hood, don't let that keep you from the good. People tired of you, try to limit what we entitled to, but then we turn to violence. Not the answer, the devil's amazing dancer knows how much that we can handle. He'll dismantle us and then we're left with dust. But lucky us, with every sneeze, here come a blessing. Keep aggressive, keep confessing to the Lord. He don't need no sounding board. I thank God that I'm here because I shouldn't be. Thankful for my motivators, my haters, they push me off the edge, watch me walk on threads. Problems we in bed, don't let that spin your head. Infrared double barrels, now that's a twin bed. One life less to stay alive, we were quick bread. Some were misled, decrease the bed spreads. This pain seems to be taking over. Someone needs a change right now. Oh no, not another funeral. I know we're tired of the suffering. This pain seems to be taking over. Someone needs a change right now. Oh no, not another funeral. The violence, let's stop the violence. Sometimes family's all we got. They'll keep loving, they won't stop. There's nothing like family, y'all. Imagine the pain if that was your mom's, you're holding your gun too. What her thoughts sweet. Child of hell, sick as tongue too. Now look what you're drawn to. All that she went through to protect you, and it's a shame y'all see a trophy and being left with residue. This pain seems to be taking over. Someone needs a change right now. Oh no, not another funeral. I know we're tired of the suffering. Family, family. Right now, let's make a change.
I hope hope you've enjoyed this time, Love in Action. Love in Action has always been a celebration of this small community that does amazing things. Our volunteers, our donors, supporters, and folks like you. That's what this is about. It's really about neighbors serving neighbors, loving your neighbor as yourself. And that's what we strive to do here and strive to encourage in our community, a small revolution of kindness. That's what it's about. I want to invite you to be a part of it, whether that's through volunteering your time. We always need volunteers to step on board and be a big help to our friends and neighbors in our community. And we need folks that can help on a recurring basis through a financial donation. One of the goals of this campaign is to create a sustainable future for an area that has been very difficult in serving. For years, we have served the folks in the eastern part of our county by asking them to come all the way to us on the western side of the county and pick up food or participate in our programs. This year, because of the amazing support of our friends during COVID-19, we've been able to make a bold step. We have opened up a new pantry in Wingate. We've opened up and are in the process of outfitting the East Union Empowerment Center in Marshville. That center in Marshville is going to make a huge difference in the community. That center will house our economic empowerment programs, which you heard Sandy and her ladies talk about today. Programs that provide a way for folks to step out of poverty, to break through barriers, to create new resources. It'll also be a place, along with our Monroe location, where we do our literacy program. It will also be a warehouse that we'll be able to feed 2 to 3 more pantry programs throughout the county. You know, last year we served right around 7,500 different people, about 6 times in a year. This year, even so far, we've served around 15,000 people, already about 3 times in a year. We expect that number will continue to grow during this terrible time of this pandemic and the economic aftermath of it. This new center that we are opening in Marshville will make a huge difference. Instead of folks driving 20 minutes or 30 minutes to get food, they'll be able to go 5 minutes, 10 minutes away. We'll be able to take down that barrier to providing basic necessities in a part of the county that is actually the most in need. We chose this area because Wingate has the highest percentage of people in poverty. With the areas close to it in Monroe and Marshville, they are the top 3 areas of poverty, but most of the services are provided on the western side of the county and in Monroe. Our Economic Empowerment Center will also be a place where folks can come and receive services from other agencies. Through our partnerships with Thrive Union, there will be a space open for other agencies to provide services in an area that is underserved. Your support is needed at this time. This particular fundraiser is in order to get us a refrigerated truck so that we can better bring more food into our space there as well as into our warehouse in Indian Trail. And also to finish putting the refrigeration in. Thanks to Food Lion and Second Harvest, we have refrigerators coming in, walk-in refrigerator and freezer. But we have some costs that are involved in that, and we need your help in order to make that a reality. And then also, by giving on a monthly basis or quarterly basis, we can create a sustainable future for that facility in the next year, which may be still a difficult time for all nonprofits and a difficult time for many of the people we serve. I don't want to leave this at just such a downer here, so to speak, but the reality of it is we've always known that it's by people coming together, loving our neighbors, serving folks in needs, pooling our resources together to create a resource that will make a difference in our community. And that's what this is. Our East Union Empowerment Center will also become a hub of volunteer activity, bringing the community together to serve its most needed folks, but also to work together for a new future for our county. I'm telling you, in this time that we're in, coming together has got to be what we do in these next few months and few years. Coming together, focused on loving, not fearing, focused on joining together our hands to make our community a better place. I believe that's possible with your support. So I want to thank you. If you're able to help out with just a $10 a month donation, or maybe you might be in one of those situations where you know that you have a little bit extra and want to spend more than that and help us out. We have a $50,000 goal during this campaign. And it'll get there because I know this community and I know the amazing, awesome support. Thank you again for watching, and we're going to see you next year, I'm sure of it.